Okay. Hello.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, friends and family, to my very first virtual art show. Isn't that something? It was supposed to be sunny today, but I'm afraid it didn't quite make it out. But it's okay. It's not raining. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're dressed well for the weather, so I hope you're all well. And I would like to start off with just one little prayer to help the angels come and make me behave. You know how it is. So the little prayer is there any remover of difficulties save God? Say, praise be God, He is God. All are His servants and all abide by His bidding. So now I'm ready to tell stories. And I think we'll start with this lovely piece right behind me. Alright? So this piece is a good piece for us to start because, in fact, my husband is the one that actually designed this. First of all, he dyed fabrics for me many years ago when we were living in Kelowna, and all of these fabrics are hand dyed. And he said to me one day, Margo, would you mind, I have this idea, do you mind if I design it and then you can do the sewing? So I said, oh, I'd love it. And this is what he came up with. I just love it. It has such depth to it. And so he put it all together. And then I suggested that he put a caribou at the bottom with a little bush from the Yukon is what this reminds me of, this bush, because it's a blueberry bush and the caribou is eating the blueberries on it. And I hope you enjoy it. It is, I think, absolutely delightful. And of course, it has to be from the Yukon because we spent many years in the Yukon, maybe 14 or so years in the Yukon, and we lived in such a beautiful place up in Haines Junction. And there's a lot, the Kluane Mountains were there, and so this is kind of what this reminds me of, is being up there and looking out my front window and being able to see the Kluane Mountains and how they change all the time. The light, when the light changes, it's almost as though, as a matter of fact, my daughter, when she was 3 years old, said, Mommy, come quick. And I go out in the living room where she was. I had been in the kitchen. And she said, look, God is painting. And it was so cute because the mountains, as the sun was moving, the mountains were changing color. And it looked really spectacular. So these hand-dyed fabrics that Jim made remind me of that time when, because this is different kind of fabric, and that was a very special time for us because so many things happened at that time, like adopting children and starting that whole process of having foster family, foster children, and getting to know the community. And so this is kind of the, and then we would go berry picking quite often, and I'm surprised of something, and that is that I didn't insist on having a bear on this picture because we would go picking blueberries, and quite often a bear would come along to also eat some blueberries. And one time my son Bradley said, I said to him, go and pick from your own bush. He was picking berries and getting in front of me, and I wanted him to pick his own bush. So he went out to look for his own bush, but the bear beat him to it. And he said, Mommy, there's a bear here. And so, of course, Jim wanted us to go home because he was too scared of the bears. And I said, the bear's fine. He's busy eating.
I think that goes over to your next one pretty well with the polar bears.
Oh, yes, of course. But this is a different kind of bear. So this picture here is a bit different because it was inspired by a trip that we did up island, and the whole way on that trip we were able to often see the ocean, and the ocean was so spectacular. And I thought on that trip, I've got to start doing artwork from the west coast instead of the north. And so, because a lot of my work depicts the north, the Yukon, and so this one was one of my first to depict the west coast.
Mom, I'm going to stop you there. There's a couple comments. Your sister Janine says, beautiful piece. And Barbara McMillan says, I love the polar bears. You've also got 10 viewers. Did you want to say hi and thanks for coming?
Hey, yeah, thanks a lot for coming, guys. I'm really glad you're enjoying it. And I wanted to share a little bit about the polar bears, because while in the Yukon, I never did see a polar bear. Saw many different bears, but not a polar bear, because they're almost extinct, if not extinct. I was going to look it up. But they're one of these animals that are not faring very well up in the Yukon right now. So I wanted to honor them in this piece by having them as part of the artwork. So that's why there are polar bears in the West Coast. I'm not going to find them here, but I'm glad you like it, Barb.
You wanted to put it together. Yeah. Okay, should we go over here?
Sure. With the dog team?
Yeah, can go to the dog team.
Yeah, do the dog team. When we were in the north, especially in February, there was always dog team races. And so I did go on a dog team ride, and it was so amazing how those dogs, they just pull and they work so hard and they love it. And the sky represents the northern lights, because in the north, in the wintertime, starting about now, you look up in the sky and what do you see but these lights just moving in the sky. It's absolutely gorgeous. Every time, every night, it's such a beautiful scene. And these dogs are just incredible. And they often helped the medical people. It's called carrying the message, because these dogs could go from A to B quite easily, almost as good as a vehicle. So sometimes even better. But yeah, they're quite the thing. I love the Northern Lights fabric. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'll mention the giclée below it of this picture. So what you can do now, I've started making giclées if anybody wants some, so you don't have to buy the original piece, which is, the price is quite a bit higher than a giclée. So any size that you want, you just have to let me know. Just email me or just send me your address so that I know where to send it to, where to mail it to, because at this time, that's probably what we'll do, is mail you the giclée.
And so we have the giclée example down below, here.
That's right.
And here. So you can see it's significantly smaller than the originals.
That's right, yeah.
And Mom, you've got lots of commenters. Your sister Lorraine says Northern Lights are my favorite. Caroline Mackay says that this one's so large about the carrying the message. It is, but you can also get the smaller one. And then your brother Paul says very, very nice. Karen Tom says, so beautiful, Margo, with a heart. So you've got lots of visitors. A hello from Eugene Smith, too. He says, vivid, beautiful colors as always, Margo.
Thank you,
And I think I saw Savannah Tom say, this one is my favorite. Which one, Savannah? And then, Mom, did you want to talk about the one with the eagle?
Sure. This one over here is a piece that I had started many years ago. And what I did is I took some of the hand-dyed fabrics and I made strips out of them and then put them together. And because they were all of the same fabric but kind of placed differently, it looked, I thought, looked quite nice. And so I put a tree in there. I like these trees, and put the tree in there, and then I thought it'd be nice to have a caribou in there as well. And there was still something missing, so I thought, why not an eagle? The eagles are so spectacular again, wherever you are, and it's nice to have them around. And they're still doing very well. So that was why I did that. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of wanted to share that all of the sewing all around it is called stippling. And the stippling I'm doing nowadays is different. I personally call it dancing with the fabric, with my art. And because when I get to that point of stippling, I'm ready to dance. It feels so good to be at that point that I dance with it. And sometimes, like I often say prayers before I start stippling, because I kind of let it go according to whatever happens. So my stippling seems different with every piece, so I hope you like it.
You've got 15 visitors now. Savannah says the Northern Lights are her favorite. Joanna says, I think the dog sled is my favorite. So lots of people picking and choosing their favorites. Giselle Babahani says she just got in, but the colors are amazing. And Cheryl Grimshaw says, I love the Northern Lights. So lots of love for the lights.
Yeah. I wonder what I'll do with the left of that fabric.
Paul wants to know how to get the price. Are you selling any of the bigger ones, or are you just doing giclées?
No, they are all for sale, and I believe I have a list of prices, names of the pictures, and the price list.
And any that we don't have, we can put up later today. Aaron O wants to know if you can ship to Ontario.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Aaron, which one do you like?
So we'll find out which one she likes later. And then your sister Lorraine says, love to see you dance, because you danced a little bit earlier when you were talking about stippling, I think. And Caroline Mackay says, can you describe how you are choosing and dyeing the fabrics? So probably going back to the one behind you. That's the one that has the most dyed fabrics.
Well,
or even this one.
I kind of go according to how it feels. If it feels like it goes together, then I put them together. I don't feel like it's me that is doing the designing or the choosing of everything. I just have an idea, and I let the angels help me choose and move ahead. So that might seem strange to some of you, but it's the way I do things, and that's why I'm so willing to share my work, because to me it's not my work. It's work that is done. I'm just kind of the gopher, I guess. I'm the one that kind of follows the instructions from my head, from my angels, whatever you want.
Whatever inspiration comes your way, you just let it go.
Inspiration. So, are there any questions?
No more right now, except Erin O says it's too hard to choose, but she would like to get one for Christmas for her parents.
Oh, wonderful. I just want to let you know some of the prices just so that you have an idea. This, the one that so many people like here is $895. And
For
of
the
course,
original.
the G-case below is a lot less. I believe it's $125.
Depending on the size, yeah.
Yeah.
Erin also wants to know, are you going to be making masks?
I am making masks, but it's not something I love to do.
That's fair.
It's but if you want masks, I can certainly make them for you. I've been making accordion style masks. I can put one on if you want, and let me see. Oh no, it's inside, Jim.
That's okay. So you have lots of people commenting, and you mentioned that you had a gift for everyone who came online to watch you and comment.
That's right.
Should we show them what that is now, or should it be a surprise for later?
I would like it to be a surprise.
Okay.
But if you would like to receive the gift, I need your address. So please send me your physical address
In a private message?
in a private message or even on this link.
Mm-hmm.
Do people want to know the prices of all of these pieces?
I think we'll post them later. Savannah Tom's asking, how long on average does it take you to complete one piece?
Now that's a good question, Savannah. And again, it depends on how inspired I am. Sometimes you'll find me working at 4 a.m. in the morning.
It's true.
And if I'm really inspired or I have a deadline, I am working right through. But usually about, I would say, a week on average for each piece. The bigger it is and the more detail in it, or the more things to sew around it, it takes me longer.
Mm-hmm.
But something like this one takes about a week. And this one as well.
You weren't in the frame, so the polar bear's about a week, you said?
Yes.
And same with this one here, and that's if you're really going for it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Sandra Robertson says, hi Margo, so nice to see your wonderful, artful work.
The original of this giclée over here took about a month, I think, to make.
Okay.
But it's over 6 feet by 4 feet.
So I'll zoom in on that. We don't have the original here, but the original's very, very large, probably the biggest one you've made, or
Yeah.
close to.
Close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll take a little break now so that I can bring out some more pieces to show you. It'll just take a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay. So, for now, I'm still live with you. I'm going to be looking at your cards while we get those switched up.
Okay.
Erin wants to know, were your parents artistic? How did you get started?
I got started when I adopted some native children who I felt needed some native artwork in their house, in their bedroom. And so the closest, at that time I was not doing artwork, but when I was a little child at 5 years old, I told my father, I looked up at him and I said, Dad, when I grow up, I'm going to be an artist. And he kind of scoffed at me because he didn't really think that would be possible or a very wise thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when I grew up, when I had children, I really wanted to make something pretty for their room. And I was inspired by Ted Harrison's artwork at the time. I don't know if you know him, but he a lot of his artwork from the Yukon. He puts a black line around his houses and the people and so on. And I was inspired by that, and so I started doing, I did a piece for my oldest son, Janol, for his bedroom. And people liked it so much that I decided, and I liked doing it so much, that I decided I would start. I especially started when I left the Yukon, because I missed the Yukon so much that I really wanted to have art that represented my Yukon experience. So that's really when I got going.
Good answer. And your sister Lorraine also says you've always been a nighthawk. Do you agree?
Yeah, I guess I always have been a nighthawk. So now it's not too hard for me to be a nighthawk.
So not much has changed. And then Karen Tom says, I think I have the biggest one you've ever made.
Oh.
Do you remember?
Which one is it?
I'm sure she'll comment. And then Colleen says, love to get a surprise. And then she left her her address and says, your color combos are so pretty.
Thank you for all your lovely, encouraging comments. I think I'm going to stick to this for a while longer.
No more in-person shows for now?
Well, this might be my new norm.
There you go. So we actually have a few more ready to go. Did you want to start on the one beside you?
I would like to have a sip of coffee, actually.
That sounds good. Is it okay if I pan to the new pieces?
Yeah.
Okay.
There, that's better. Yeah, it's still warm. Okay, do you want me to start telling?
Yeah, which one are we starting with?
Let's start with this one here.
Okay.
The show and tell.
Go ahead.
This piece here was the hardest one I made this year. By the way, most of the pieces that you're seeing today have been done this year. So I'm not showing pieces that were done over the years, just this year. So this one was actually started a couple of years ago, and I had just done the top part of this. I guess I knew I was moving to the island, and that's why I did the lighthouse. And I wasn't sure what else to do, so I put that beginnings away, kind of tucked it out in a drawer, and then when we were cleaning during this pandemic, we did a lot of cleaning, and when we were cleaning up, we found the top piece and decided that it was time to finish that art piece. And so my husband had started really helping me as a co-artist, and so he helped put more pieces together, and some of these trees he put together, and down here as well. So so this is a combination of two minds, two inspired beings, putting things together. But it was hard to work on. I didn't, apart from the fact that it's quite large, it has so many small trees. I didn't want that many trees, because when you have to zigzag around all these little things, yikes, that's a lot of work. And my neck was hurting, and it was just really tough. So, but I think it turned out really well. I love that he put these rocks at the bottom, and having that sailboat in there kind of puts a different dimension. So
Karen Tom says that she thinks the largest piece you made that she has is called Yukon Life, or Love of the Yukon, by the way. Oh. And then your sister Janine says, so much vibrancy and movement in these pieces. Should we talk about this one?
Yes, let's talk about this one now. This one is is a combination of the Yukon experience and just storytelling. I love storytelling. And of course in the Yukon the elders were so immediately that's what you did. You heard story after story. And this is called Invitation. And it's an elder telling stories by a fireplace. And I really like this one because it looks like the fireplace is lighting up the trees in the background. And the night sky is so beautiful, I think, with the very simple little moon. And it's called Invitation because we're inviting people to come and sit on the log and listen to the stories that this elder is telling us. There are so many different memories of storytelling.
Corey Uman Rush Batters B says, "Hi, Margo." And you've got Erin saying about the lighthouse that she loves it. In this one here.
Good.
And you've got two more behind you that we haven't talked about yet.
Yes, that's right. So I guess we'll move on to the others. Excuse me, I'll turn around here.
Okay, perfect.
Ah, yes, that's what we've got. So this one was just kind of, again, wanting to pay tribute to the ego and to life. I'm really quite a happy being, 90% of the time. The rest of the time, watch out. Right, Lorraine? My sister's online. She's keeping me in line. She's always tried. She does pretty well with it. But this is just a picture of giving homage to life, being thankful for how great life is. And again, the mountains. When I lived in Alberta, I loved the Rocky Mountains, and this kind of reminds me of the Rocky Mountains. So a lot of my designs come from experience in my life, because I did a fair amount of travel, and so that's why there's so many different angles of Canada and life. And there's another one about the same shape, but of people dancing and drumming on a cliff, and then people fishing at the bottom there. So again, part of the Yukon experience. When I first went to the Yukon, there wasn't very much drumming because the government had objected to native ceremonies, and as many of you know, a lot of the native things were outlawed, and so native people weren't allowed to have different ceremonies, and certainly not having their own regalia. They weren't allowed to do drumming and having things like that. And then a lovely elder who became later on my aunt by adoption basically said, "That's enough. The young people need the dancing." So she asked some of the parents if she could teach the dancing before she died, and they agreed to it. This was Auntie Angela. So Auntie Angela taught them the dancing, and now those dancers are going all over the world to do their dancing. They're being requested to, they've been to China, they've been so many different countries to do this dancing, and it's so wonderful. What an experience it is to experience that dancing. It just, if you ever get a chance to see native dancers, take the chance, because it is incredible.
Sharon Herpinger says, beautiful artwork, as beautiful as you. So glad I live close to you and see your fabric art as you create it. And then Victoria Lane says, I wasn't able to join you earlier, but so glad to be here now.
Thank you for coming, Victoria.
You've got 19 viewers right now, so thank all of them.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. I know that everybody is very busy, and I hope you're all keeping safe and well.
Mm-hmm.
And keep on doing it. Okay, I think it's time to change it up again.
Sounds good.
I have this beautiful rosemary plant behind me.
I can't see behind me very easily. I'm kind of stuck.
Oh, and you can't smell it either.
But yeah, take our word for it. Beautiful big rosemary
I'll
bush.
just take a little break then. Thank you, folks.
Corrine says, hello, dear cousin. And then Giselle Babahani says, so glad I was able to finally connect. Good. So I'm going to look back at your cards to keep things going. How's the coffee?
Coffee is very good. Yeah.
Allie Noel says, hi Margo, it's Eugene and Diane. Great show, absolutely beautiful. And now we're up to 20.
21.
People. 21 viewers right now, actually.
Oh, wow.
22. So let the new viewers know what we're waiting for.
Okay, so we're just waiting to have new artwork come up. I have a few more to show. And of course, let's not forget that if you can order giclées, I believe you've got the price list of the giclées. Because I'm afraid my prices are not too low. They're a little bit on the high side. So, but if you want to buy them, you're definitely welcome to. And you know, I love bartering. So anybody who wants to barter is welcome to do so.
And the giclées are good because you can shrink them down to, I think there's 6 different size options at least.
Yeah.
And then they're significantly cheaper.
They're significantly cheaper, and they'll also last almost as long.
Mm-hmm.
And they're easier to take care of.
Right.
Because my art pieces really, you know, after a few years, need to be cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
Whether vacuumed or even washed.
And then your sister Janin says that these cards are great, and she's letting everyone know that they're blank on the inside, and everyone she's sent them to has liked them a lot. So.
Oh, that's good, definitely. These cards, by the way, are not very expensive because you can order one of every kind, or you know, the same one. You can order 10 at a time
and get a cheaper price, right?
And get quite a bit cheaper, yeah.
Your sister Lorraine says your art is not overpriced. They are worth every single dollar.
Oh, my God.
And then Joanna says the giclées show the detail of the stitches. So that's a really important thing to know too, because it's a high quality print, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Ah, there's that big piece.
You're giving it away. Victoria asks what the price of 10 cards is, but Victoria, I think we will actually post that after. We'll get all the prices up.
Yeah, we'll be posting the prices of the cards as well, but if you want to buy 20 cards, it's only $25.
There we go. So you've got 2 new pieces here, and then the big one we'll save for last.
Okay. Well, look at that. This is a typical Margo. This is a Margo art piece. It's It's a piece that I just kind of, you know, when I was going to school, they only had 7 planets. It's what they had discovered by then, and we all had to memorize the planets, and then they started finding more and more planets, and I went, I can't keep up with all of this, so I'm going to decide how many planets there is. So these are the planets. Now, how many did I give? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 planets. I have no idea how many planets there are now. They probably discovered more than that, but at the time, I went, yes, I'm going to just decide myself how many planets there are. I didn't name them all, which is a good thing because, of course, they have different names for them. But so that's kind of where that began, and the fabric behind it just went so well with the planets that it kind of really makes the universe a lovely, lovely place.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I was thinking. And that's what I wanted to do, is that the universe is so beautiful. And I like the border on this one because it, again, was not typical of my borders, but, you know, I hope you like it.
Janine says, you are just getting better and better. Love the one on the left. Sweet. So that's this one here. I haven't shown the other one on the farther left yet.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janine.
Should we talk about the bears?
Okay. Yeah, the bear one. You know, when I give people, sometimes when I'm walking around the community, I'm walking with my walker, and I have a little basket in my walker, and in my basket I have cards. And I do that because if I meet somebody new, I give them a card. And sometimes I give them a choice of 5 or 6 cards, and they'll always choose this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they like this one so much. I kind of like it myself. It reminds me of bears fishing in the winter, in October, in the fall time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting their food before they go into hibernation.
Mm-hmm.
And so this fabric that I discovered, as I'm sure you all know, my fabric closet is full. Full. Continues to be full, even though I've got all these pieces done now. And the sky, again, is just a sky fabric I'm just always looking for. And I think that this sky fabric turned out really well.
Mm-hmm.
But these are grizzly bears, and grizzly bears are quite scary. And we used to have a dog called Blackie who protected us from the grizzly bears.
Would let you know when they were around.
They not only let us know when they were around, but they distracted them and shooed them off.
Mm-hmm.
They were very good at doing that. He was very good at doing that.
So, Mom, time check. It's 3:40. I wasn't paying attention to the time, but you were answering lots of good questions and saying hi to people. So should we just look at the last one here?
Okay. Well, friends, time is almost up.
Why don't you get over here, and then I can get you in frame too.
Hi, guys.
Perfect.
Now, this one is the one I've been showing you. I said it took me at least a month to do. And so it has quite a bit of detail. As a matter of fact, if I can, maybe you could zoom in a little bit here, Selena.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find it. Oh, here they are. You see these people down here doing ice fishing? They are so little. The body is almost as big as my fingernail. So it was very, I had to be very careful how I sewed it so that it turned out all right. And I think I did a very good job.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting putting this together because I put this together after I left the Yukon, and the Yukon and winter is something I do not miss. I do not miss it whatsoever.
The winters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The snow. But I also wanted to show how snow can be so much fun.
Right. Well, that's awesome. And people are really liking this one. They're talking about how they love the detail. And so I think that was a perfect one to end off on.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And of course, we have the gicle of this one.
Yes.
So, thank you, friends. You're now ready to go, and you can, I think you can click on this video.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's posted after the fact. So.
And make sure to send me your address so that I can know where to mail things. Don't send me your address if you don't want me to send anything.
Okay.
That'll be my clue.
There you go.
But thank you, everybody, for coming. It's been great.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.